What is going on, pilots, and welcome back to another Titanfall 2 gameplay video. In this video I'm going to be breaking down basically a guide to using the Titan Ion effectively in PvP. Now this is my go-to Titan. I've logged a number of hours, multiple hours playing on this Titan, and I've had a ton of fun doing it, so I've gotten pretty used to the mechanics and what works, what doesn't work, how to engage people both in and out of the Titan. So let's take quickly just a brief look at the Titan itself. You can see that the Ion is, I think is a great looking Titan. I think aesthetically it looks pretty stinking cool. But in terms of its stat breakdowns, you have damage at a 1, health at a 2 out of 3, and mobility also at a 2 out of 3. Now I like to use, you've got a lot of options here, but for me I like having 2 dashes because of the way that you have to play Ion. If you're doing especially Titan on Titan combat, having 2 dashes is super nice because you end up playing a lot of cat and mouse and using your shoulder mounted laser shot. Now I do tend to use Grand Cannon as my preferred perk in this slot. Basically makes it so that your laser core, your sort of super ability lasts longer, which is great. You can take out a mech and then maybe turn and do damage on a second one, or take out a pilot after that, and you'll see that in some of the gameplay here. Obviously I just like Dome Shield. I don't really care for Warp Fall personally. Now let's talk about the abilities that Ion has in terms of offense. You have the splitter rifle. This clip makes it look super OP that they show you, but I find it's great for just kind of taking out the riffraff, eliminating pilots at medium range. Here's the vortex shield, and in some of my gameplay I've been able to actually finish off Titans, especially things like Tones or Legions. I've been able to finish them off with a vortex shield, repelling the bullets, the projectiles back at them. Next you have the laser shot. This is your shoulder mounted cannon, and this ability will actually, if you're playing Ion correctly, will become your primary weapon in both Titan on pilot combat and Titan on Titan combat. You see this thing, it just shreds. It's so accurate. You can charge it up and it will release automatically after a while, but look at this, just it's like pull, shoot him out of the air. Next you have the tripwire, and this clip makes it look OP too. It's not a one-hit kill, but what I do is when I'm baiting guys into close quarters, you see here I release the tripwire and it instantly detonates as he goes through it. You see it takes out a significant chunk of his health, but I use the tripwire when people are trying to close the gap on me, and then I can boost backwards and make them take damage from it, while I can put more shots on them with my laser shot or even my splitter rifle. Now here you have the laser core. This is your sort of super ability. Again, I use the extended duration buff on it, which is really helpful when fighting Ronins or anything with high mobility. You can track them and still take them down. So those are the abilities that Ion has at its disposal. Now kind of putting all those pieces together to make a really lethal machine is something entirely different. Now, talking about the splitter rifle itself, your sort of primary weapon, I recommend that you actually just kind of use it for ranged DPS to follow up shots with your shoulder-mounted cannon. And it's gonna be pretty weak if you're not hitting crits. So you have to really start to target Titans in the cockpit area. Make sure you're putting your shots down in the cockpit area on enemy Titans if you want to have maximum potential damage with your splitter rifle. Now, when you use your splitter rifle, it's going to take energy from your shoulder-mounted cannon, so use it in short bursts. You don't want to have a long cooldown on your shoulder-mounted cannon. That's not good, because that cannon will get you out of sticky situations very consistently. So I highly recommend that you get used to using the shoulder-mounted laser shot as your sort of primary means of engaging, and it's going to become your bread and butter. It really is the bread and butter of this Titan. So it's something that doesn't really have a long cooldown at all, so it's okay to use it as a sort of primary. As long as you aren't using your splitter rifle consistently in too long a burst, then it's going to stay cooled down for you. And you do have the option of using the ability that makes it so that when you get crits with your splitter rifle, it actually restores energy back, so you have even less of a cooldown. That's certainly an option too, but for me, I greatly prefer having the extended laser core, because you'll see it in some of the gameplay here. Sometimes these Titans, you'll start your laser core up and they'll just dash away and out of your field of view, so at least you have some time with that extended duration on the laser core to sort of turn and maybe find another target. And I actually do that in some of the game. I think it may be this very next clip. So let's see, it may be. Sure enough, so I start the laser core, he dashes out into cover, so I turn, I see a pilot up on the roof, and there's an easy kill. But I did get this guy, so he's in a critical state, so I just kind of pursue him and finish off that Titan kill as well with the shoulder-mounted cannon, and then follow it up with a blast from the splitter rifle. And that is really how you want to do things. You can treat this like a sniper Titan. You can treat this like a North Star with that shoulder-mounted laser shot. It's going to one-hit kill any pilots, and it's going to do significant amounts of DPS on Titans at range too. So you end up playing cat and mouse. What I tend to do is I'll put a laser shot into a Titan that's downrange, and then I'll boost into cover, wait a second or two, and then pop back out and re-engage. So basically, you take their aggro, you duck into cover, then they're aggroed on you, they're trying to find you, they don't see you, so they turn to maybe take on a target that's a little bit closer to them. Then you re-engage and get another shot from a safe distance. It's great for taking down things like legions and scorches over time from a distance. Now those are the two Titans that I really don't engage directly with my ion. If I see a legion or I see a scorch, I will tend to use my 2 dashes to really just break line of sight and get away, and then start to re-engage on my terms. Like I'll do a flanking maneuver, or I'll take them on at range, pop off a laser shot, duck into cover, pop off a laser shot, duck into cover. You see here, splitter rifle, getting those crits is hugely important when you're in Titan on Titan gunfights. So I highly recommend that you try to get used to using that shoulder-mounted cannon. It's going to be your saving grace, and it's gotten me out of so many sticky situations in my my gameplay as well. Also, don't feel bad about just punching dudes. these pilots like to get up on you and try and rodeo you. So feel free to save your energy, punch the guys who are close, and then use your cannon for the longer range ones. You see here, I go from like 13% energy towards my Titan to 48%. Make sure you are taking the time to take on just the grunts and stuff, and getting multi-kills like that is a great way to get your energy up so that you can get your Titan faster. I call it down right behind right behind this guy, and he just gets we gang up on him and take him out pretty quickly, pretty easily. Now the Vortex Shield it's effective. It can do some really nice things, but I only use it when I have to. For the most part, I'm just going to take pot shots and zip in and out of cover, and use that as my means of defense, as actual hard cover. I'll use the Vortex Shield if I get caught out in the open and I know that I have a teammate nearby to start picking up aggro and putting shots in the guy for me. But for the most part, I don't use the Vortex Shield all the time. I try to save my energy for other things and use my 2 dashes to get me out of sticky situations and back into cover. So I think that the 1 damage statistic that the Ion gets is a little bit misleading. I think with the split, if all you ever used was the splitter rifle, then yeah, it would be pretty weak in comparison to some of the other Titans out there for their primary weapons. But well, like I said, that laser shot is filthy. You see, look at the chunks of health it takes out at a time, and then I just follow it up. I always follow it up with a blast from the splitter rifle, and then here I get that laser core up and take the Legion on 1v1 from the side here, and manage to take him out pretty quickly. So that laser core, I always save the laser core for the big guys, unless I'm in a pinch and I have to use it on a smaller Titan. But for the most part, I use it as a means of taking on things like legions and scorches, and sort of evening the odds in those scenarios back towards me. Now just remember that the Vortex Shield also, quick note here, the Vortex Shield will not catch or repel energy projectiles. So if you're going up against another Ion, don't really bother with the Vortex Shield. It's not going to be in your best interest to use that thing at all. Just focus on using your shoulder-mounted cannon and following up your shots with the splitter rifle, maybe baiting them in and dropping that tripwire down in front of them. But I have to say, I love playing Ion. Ion is by far my favorite of the Titans to play. It's just so versatile, you see here. Just taking on mobs, groups of enemies is not that difficult. Take out a couple of pilots and then re-engage the Titan. It's just so well-rounded. And once you get the hang of the controls and the mechanics and the way that you ought to conduct your fights when you're inside an Ion, once you get used to all that, you can be quite the lethal machine on the battlefield. I played a lot of Titan elimination, where it's last Titan standing. Everyone starts out in Titans, and the last Titan standing is the last team with Titans still on the battlefield wins the round. I played that elimination style a lot, and I was frequently going up against teams that had you know, several legions. They always go for the heavy hitting ones, and I just found that with an Ion I can still manage on these maps, especially in just that playlist where it's just Titan on Titan. It's pretty easy to sort of get to the outskirts, take pot shots with the laser shot, and duck into cover and let your teammates sort of juggle aggro with you. It's pretty easy to do that. So I ended up on top of the scoreboard several times against full teams of legions and scorches and heavy hitters, and you know, you can be really effective in these Ions. So I hope that you enjoyed the gameplay. I hope that you found this helpful, and hopefully that after watching this video you feel a little bit more comfortable in an Ion. I know that a lot of people don't like them because they say they feel pretty weak, but you see here, getting the crits right on the cockpit. You're going to be dropping Titans pretty quickly if you play this Titan correctly. Hopefully it was helpful for you guys, and feel free to make suggestions for future vids and guides that you would like to see on the channel that you might find beneficial to you and to your gameplay. That's the whole point of this channel, is to help players become better players and enjoy their PvP experience better. So part of enjoying your PvP more is playing the game better, and so that's what we strive to do here. So alright guys, well, thank you so much for stopping by the channel, and thank you for watching this guide, and I will catch you on the frontier.
Well, that's Cody.